Hey guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk about Blu-rays. In particular, why Blu-rays suck. Now, it might come as a bit of a shock to you, given I'm a massive Blu-ray collector. So why would I be, of all people, saying Blu-ray sucks? We have to look at the humble days of the VHS tape. When we had VHS, it was magnetic strip, and the quality was topped out at about 240p, which is pretty low, but for a CRT television, you're not really going to notice. Now, some later tapes did push that a bit and get a higher resolution out of VHS tapes, but essentially VHS tapes topped out at a certain quality. So when DVD came along, it was a huge leap, and not to mention the format was bulky. VHS was bulky compared to DVDs, which was a CD-based sort of system. You know, here's a Sailor Moon one. I'm sure this is probably, someone will say, that's a fake one or whatever, but I'm positive this is a official one. But you know, you go to something like this from a bulky VHS tape. And when you think of DVD, you think of DVD menus, the experience of DVD, the overall vibe of DVD, and how much of a cutting edge technology it was for the time. Now, it was not the original optical format for reading discs. Obviously, CD was there, and also Laserdisc for video was there. So Laserdisc predates it. But in terms of small form factor, nothing went harder than DVD. To the point where DVD is still the king of physical media, even to today, even alongside 4K, even alongside streaming. When you think of physical media, so many people are just like, oh, DVD. They very rarely will say, oh, Blu-ray, or unless they know the quality is better, then they'll say, oh, Blu-ray, yeah, let's go to Blu-ray. But the problem I'm seeing today in the modern collecting scene is so many people are like, oh, you know, you can go and pick up the latest movie, but if I was going to spend $20 on a new movie, why wouldn't I wait another few days, try to find the 4K and buy the 4K? Now you might say, if you're going secondhand, Blu-ray does become worth it. Blu-ray is very much worth it. But I think the collector community has started to show that they're going towards two sort of campgrounds. The high end, which is 4K, which is if you're about quality, you're chasing 4K, you want 4K. And there are some people like me who are like, yeah, but you need to keep some some Blu-rays around, like Terminator 2, where the transferred might not suit. And in that case, you can go back to an older version. But with 4K, the high-end collectors are going towards 4K. It looks better on a projector. You can blow it up to massive resolutions, you know, you can make it very big. But for most people who aren't in the streaming circle and want to collect physical media, there are two camps. The two camps are 4K Blu-ray and DVD. And Blu-ray is in this weird spot at the moment where it doesn't really feel like it belongs. I mean, while there are TV seasons still getting released on Blu-ray, don't get me wrong, it's not going anywhere soon. South Park is still releasing on Blu-ray. But let's look at the overall scene of Blu-ray. Blu-ray was something that was existing alongside streaming in the early days. And a lot of the DVD menus from back in the day were not ported over to Blu-ray. So most people remember the interactive Shrek menus. Obviously the Matrix menus from back in the day, where the Australian release of the Matrix had a really cool music on there. I don't remember the exact name, but I will put something on the screen here to talk about the name. But it had really cool music. And then you have all of this other stuff that made DVD such a massive draw for so many people. Not to mention the quality was better than VHS. Now, from standard definition to HD, people did see a difference. People did say, yeah, I can see a difference in that. It's twice the resolution. Yeah, I can see the difference. But you have to keep in mind, people were upgrading their TVs at the time. People were upgrading to the new flat screens and 720p TVs before, obviously, 1080p really took over. So people could see a difference on their new TVs. But for so many people, especially myself, I am a fan of the media as it sits. The interactive menus and the vibe of the DVDs give it that overall vibe. It gives it that whole nostalgic feel. Now obviously things with DVDs like South Park, this has received a remaster in HD on Blu-ray, and I have got the Blu-rays. But when I think of this, this has the original music on it, and people that's like, oh, they ported all the original stuff over to the Blu-rays. Not always. Like, there's the Christmas one, Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo. There's the glass thing, you know, the guy who plays the piano or whatever in the Mr. Hanky episode, and he's like, happy, 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 everybody's happy. That was not ported over to the Blu-ray from what I can tell, and I've tried to find it. I might be in one of the sub options, maybe I'm not hitting something correctly, but it doesn't appear to be on the Blu-ray. And also the menus and all these little things, like Trey Parker and Matt Stone doing those little South Park intros, you know, there's little intros of like, hey, it's our Indian companion, you know, there's like all that stuff makes the DVD format. So you have a lot of people who are just like, I would rather just buy DVD. It's an older format, but you get the experience as it was intended. There was no streaming alongside this thing. And 9 times out of 10 with Blu-ray, they just ported over the iTunes menus and ported over the iTunes sub-menus. Like, all you get on these discs sometimes are subtitles, director commentary, and that's about it. Whereas back in the day, you'd get special features, you'd have hidden features in the menus. Remember on some Simpsons episodes, some Simpsons DVDs, you would have to go through the menus and find little hidden features. There was a whole game to DVD. And likewise, when you go to 4K, obviously you're getting the bigger quality, so a lot of people are like, oh, you know, that's a trade-off, but I'm getting the highest quality possible. So Blu-ray falls into this black hole of, okay, why wouldn't I just go for 4K? If the 4K is alongside it, why wouldn't I just go for that? And if I want to go for a cheap option, I'll take DVD. And so you see the bottom falling out of Blu-ray. Now, that pertains to new Blu-rays. The collector market is mostly secondhand with Blu-ray. And in that sense, you do see value in Blu-ray, because you can pick up Blu-rays like $3, $2 a piece, depending on which one you're trying to go after. I mean, I got one imported here the other week because it's not released in Australia. Obviously, South Park I've shown. But I also bought Succession. I bought the Succession Blu-rays because I want to watch the TV show. Yes, it's available on binge, but, you know, I want to watch it in a good quality, and I want to watch it on, like, just switch off from everything and watch Succession. So that's available, but I had to import that one, and that was a bit expensive to import. But I'm happy about importing that one because I was like, you know what? If it was available on 4K, I would have imported the 4K. But for Blu-ray, that's good enough for me. And it'll complement my TV and all that. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I would have preferred to have the 4K option. And, you know, if I wanted to save a few dollars, I'm sure I could have bought the Blu-rays and the DVDs in Australia. I mean, they're available at JB Hi-Fi. So there are definitely trade-offs to Blu-ray. Obviously, you're not getting 4K resolution, which some of these shows hadn't been shot in 4K. I understand that. And I'm happy with Blu-ray to an extent. But it kind of sucks when compared to DVD. When you look at DVD menus and everything about the DVDs, it was just a superior format in terms of interest and in terms of delivery and in terms of quality control and in terms of Easter eggs and all of these other things that they will do to make DVD the standout feature. And then you get the Blu-ray and it's kind of like a phone-in job, essentially. And don't get me wrong, 4K is a phone-in job as well, but you're getting the higher resolution, so it is a trade-off. But, you know, I think with Blu-ray, we're at this point now with Blu-ray where I think you're going to start seeing Blu-ray fade away in terms of new Blu-rays. Not like 5-10 years ago when Blu-rays secondhands are getting traded off or whatever, and you can go into shops and buy secondhand ones. That's still going to be there. The collector market will still be there. You can still go into shops and buy them pretty cheap. But in terms of why wouldn't a studio manufacture a double pack? Like, I don't know if The Flash is a double pack, but let's go for one that's definitely a double pack. Let's go the Suicide Squad. Yeah, so why wouldn't a studio just do a double pack and just say, oh, well, you get both of them, and we only have to manufacture one piece of plastic? And a lot of people are talking about carbon emissions, trying to get their carbon footprint down, a lot of companies. So that actually makes sense. Let's just put them both in the same case, charge the same price, because it actually doesn't cost that much to just ship them together. It's more about shipping the product that's the big money spender for these companies. So why wouldn't they just put it in the same thing and you get to choose? I think you're going to see Blu-rays go away, and I think you're going to see Blu-rays really start to fade and start to go away in terms of new releases. Now, that doesn't mean like TV is going to still use Blu-ray, because a lot of TV shows were shot on 1080p, 1080i rather. So you're going to see TV shows still using Blu-ray because it makes sense for TV shows. Unless they were shot in 4K, then you'll see some shows start to upgrade. Like Friends is getting a 4K upgrade, which is kind of mind-boggling that Friends is getting an upgrade to 4K. I still don't get what Friends is about. And don't get me wrong, everyone has seen Friends. I have seen Friends. I haven't watched the whole series. I'm not that hardcore about Friends. But I'm still like, okay, it's a decent enough show. It's a funny show, but like, what is this cult following for it? I don't understand this cult following. And I know it was a product of the time, but it just doesn't make sense that it would have such a huge cult following and to get a 4K release and justify a 4K release. It's a weird choice, but hey, I will take it. Like, it is definitely cool to see Friends getting an upgrade. But then a show like Breaking Bad, for example, something that's hugely popular and hugely would be adopted by 4K collectors, that has not yet got a 4K transfer. So, a lot of collectors will look at, okay, well, I guess the Blu-ray will have to do for now, but we're always eyeing the next step. Okay, we want to upgrade to 4K. And while people are like interim, just like, okay, well, I know the 4K is going to come at some point. So for the time being, I just want to watch this show, but I'll buy it on DVD because I am going to upgrade. That's where the bottom falls out of Blu-ray for me. And that's where I think a lot of collectors are like, it doesn't make sense to go for Blu-ray. Unless it's something that just isn't going to be available. But also with Blu-ray, you see something from studios of putting out the Blu-ray first, and then waiting 2-3 months and then putting out a 4K, double dipping essentially. And that puts a lot of collectors off even getting invested in Blu-ray to begin with. If they came out at the same time, at least they would have the choice there. But it's not. It's something of, okay, we're going to ship this one first, and then we're going to say there's no 4K, but we know there's a 4K up the sleeve. But you understand what I'm saying? Blu-ray has lost its aura. And not 4K, I'm not talking about 4K Blu-ray, I'm considering 4K Blu-ray a different format. Even though it is Blu-ray, it's a different format, different resolutions, different technology. So 4K is not going to lose its market share, it's going to continue to grow as Blu-ray goes down. But you're also going to see DVD go up because the low-end collectors who just want to have a version of their favourite show that is not on streaming so they can go back and visit it whenever, they're going to buy DVD and just say, okay, that's good enough for me, I'm only going to really have it in case I don't want to watch streaming. And then you have the high-end collectors who want their high-end setup. Like I have an OLED, a 65-inch LG OLED, so I want the highest quality. And you're going to see me go for, okay, 4K looks better, but I can also watch a DVD. Like, a DVD looks great. I also have an old CRT that I've been ripping DVDs to play on that in 4:3 aspect ratio and really putting... So I have followed through on a previous video where I was talking about setting up my own channel. I've been experimenting with a Mac Mini, just connecting it up to a CRT and seeing how that operates. And might I say, it's really cool, it's really promising. I don't want to go through all the modulator scene and all this to hook it up and channel surf. Maybe that's a long-term project, but just for having something that will play on a CRT and I can essentially program, that is a first step. So I have been experimenting with that. But when I want to watch on a CRT, I will pick DVD and I will rip DVDs or put it in the player. There are different options. And when I want to watch on the OLED, I'll pick a Blu-ray, a 4K Blu-ray. Unless, the movie I want is on Blu-ray down here and it's not available on 4K, or I don't own it on 4K, in which case I will go for this. Like, a lot of Australian movies were primarily released on 4K, including the one I worked on, Last Cab to Darwin. On Indian, I don't think ever got a Blu-ray release, so that's only available on DVD. Don't judge me, I have been trying to convince them to do a Blu-ray or a 4K release of those. Not too successfully, but as far as I know, I think the rights are controlled by Icons, so I think, or maybe it's Roadshow, but I don't know. I've just been saying, hey, it would be pretty cool if we got a 4K release of Last Cab to Darwin, and obviously it was shot in 2K, so there's no resolution there. I mean, it would still have a nice little upkick. Not that I have much sway in the industry, I'm just like, I just suggest it because everyone knows I'm a physical media collector, and I've mentioned it a couple of times that it'd be great to have that. But I think at that point, it's just like, okay, it'll come eventually. I think Last Cab may be able to take a bit of advantage of that, especially with a color grade, but it's also it's a very pricey process to upgrade it to a 4K and then also give it a new color grade for Dolby or HDR10, so it is a pricey process. But I think the adopter rate might not be there, so it might not be enough people who would take up that technology and go out and buy a 4K Blu-ray of Last Cab to Darwin, so the return just isn't there, I don't believe. It would be cool to have it though. But you're seeing some Australian movies get upgrades, like some of the older movies that were shot on film that you can actually pull resolution from the film. You're seeing some of those, like Mad Max and The Last Wave and, you know, Picnic at Hanging Rock. Geez, like, you know, there's a lot of things here that you can easily draw from and get high resolutions. But when it comes to Blu-ray, a lot of people, unless it's something like Australian movies, unless it's something that you just can't get, like TV shows that are only released on released on 4K, not 4K, Blu-ray. Sorry, I will get it right eventually. Well, you're kind of out of luck. You're going to have to really watch those, and they're not going to really upgrade everything to 4K overnight. Like, it's going to be a lengthy process over many years. Blu-ray is only starting to get to the point now where it's really starting to rival DVD in terms of its catalog, and even then it's not one-to-one with DVD. DVD is still superior in terms of catalog and library. So DVD really has a one-up advantage. Stuff you can't get on Blu-ray and even 4K is available on DVD. And a lot of studios, when they do upgrade those movies, they're just like, well, we're just going to jump over Blu-ray and just go to 4K because it makes more sense. And even then, even Blu-ray, there'll be collectors who say, oh, well, you know, I'm happy with my VHS tapes. I'm happy with Laserdisc. I'm happy with HD DVD, even though HD DVD is rotting. Yeah, it's a weird one, but definitely the industry is looking at Blu-ray as if it sucks. And I agree. To an extent, Blu-ray does suck. It's not bad. That doesn't mean it's bad. But when you compare it against what was previous and what's coming after, Blu-ray is kind of like this middle ground where it's not the best at picture quality anymore. It's not the best at interactive experience, like menus and all that other stuff. It's kind of that middle ground. And it's kind of the same price as 4K almost. So why would collectors pick it up over a 4K? Let me know what you think, guys. And yeah, do you think Blu-ray sucks? I mean, it appears that collectors have made their choice up, whether it's 4K or DVD. Collectors have made their choice up. And they've chose with their wallets, as they always do. Blu-ray is not going anywhere, don't get me wrong, but you're going to start seeing Blu-ray merged into 4Ks, like DVDs were in the early days. DVDs were merged into Blu-ray. Let me know what you think. Watch the video. Catch you in the next one. Peace.